Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider, presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch welcomes friend of the pod Beto Casellas, Synchrony Health and Wellness Executive Vice President and CEO. Beto is here to talk about CareCredit's new partnership with Milken Institute to research healthcare affordability. And if you can afford the time to leave us a rating or review, it would always be appreciated.
All right, everybody, welcome to the program. Alex Thiersch here, and we are very, very excited and honored, as always, to have one of our good friends and repeat guests, the amazing and talented Mr. Beto Casellas, the Executive VP and CEO of Synchrony Health and Wellness. You all know him, though, as the Godfather of CareCredit, I think is what I like to call him.
Yeah.
And he is CareCredit obviously is a huge piece of the aesthetic space, and they have been a big partner of ours, and they've obviously done a great job and a really big service to the industry by providing financing and payment options for patients. And we are going to talk about something today that I think is really important. And well, first of all, Beto, I appreciate you joining us. How are things? How have you been?
They're good. Thank you, Alex. Your intro gets even better every time, which is great. But no, listen, great to be here. Great to be here with your members. And yeah, we got some things that are new that we wanted to share that we thought will be beneficial for your members to know that we're in the forefront on some of these discussions and being a thought leader in the industry. So we can get right to it. Go wherever you want to go.
It's really cool to see what you all have been doing. First of all, I love the Godfather of CareCredit. I don't think you can get any better than that. What we want to talk about is, I mean, obviously, you all in CareCredit and Synchrony, you're involved in payments for patients, right? So patients wanting to get healthcare services, and you've entered into a collaboration and a partnership with the Milken Institute, Milken Institute, sorry. And I'm not sure many folks know what the Milken Institute is. I've actually kind of been a follower of theirs for a bit because they do a lot of really, really good things. They're a nonprofit, non-partisan, just kind of trying to make the world, and I'm probably going to butcher this as far as their purpose, but a kind of a healthier and more stable place through finance and health policy and things like that. And so it's really been kind of cool to see what your involvement has done with them. And you have this new collaboration with them. And I want to get into the specifics of that because it deals with this, the integration of longevity medicine, and then how folks are going to actually ultimately pay for that, and what the interplay between those two things is. And I want to start real quick because you've had a couple interactions with the Milken Institute, and I before we get into the collaboration, I want to set the stage a little bit I did take a look at the article that you wrote on their, it was on their publication titled the Making Longevity Achievable and Affordable, which is what you wrote, which I thought was a really, really great article. I was fascinated by it. And a couple of the things that you had put up there, I think really framed it for me, and I think will help frame this discussion. And a couple of the statistics that you had said Synchrony had published were the idea that Americans in particular don't know how much they spend on healthcare. They tend to underestimate how much they spend on healthcare by 1.5 times. Many Americans, almost half, I think, are delaying healthcare decisions because they don't have the money to do so. And that despite all the rising expenses, there are, I think, something like 80% of Americans aren't saving to be able to pay for healthcare down the road. And so we're seeing this kind of disconnect between the ability to pay for healthcare and the fact that Americans are living longer. And what jarred this all for me was we are obviously in aesthetics and medical spas, and
Yeah.
all of this is coming together. Longevity, aesthetics, it's all kind of melding together into one big thing. And I was thinking, is this now kind of an area where we're going to have the haves and the have-nots, where who's going to be able to pay for things like longevity and wellness and all these incredible new treatments that are coming out, that a lot of our patients are able to access, and the innovation and the research that's happening is really, really amazing. But I feel like there's going to be a whole lot of folks that maybe get left behind. And then I see what you all doing with the Milken Institute, and it gave me a little bit of hope. So I wanted to kind of set the stage and ask kind of what was the inspiration for this, and then we'll dive into a little bit of the specifics about what y'all are
Sure.
doing with some of the tools that you've created.
So yeah, listen, we have always been a thought leader in the industry, have always thought about affordability and accessibility of care. And really, we want to enhance the financial education that folks have out there. That's what we've been always all about. I think the relationship with Milken that we established, this collaboration with them, they're a well-respected convener and research think tank. There's
Yeah.
great people that are involved with them. So we wanted to be part of that because we thought that we can not only influence but be part of the mix in terms of bringing forth the conversation around not only accessibility but also affordability and how do people
Right.
pay for this. And they do it in a very professional, nonpartisan, and really educational way that really resonated with the values that we hold at Synchrony and at CareCredit. And so being able to have steps towards reaching a new audience that we haven't had before, haven't had that opportunity before, being able to identify some trends that I think are important for us to play in, advancing literacy, highlighting the important role that payment solutions play into all of this, into wellness, into health care, is one that has been important for us. And I think Milton will help us augment the overall message that we have by engaging with other leaders, other organizations, other partners that have similar goals. And I think it's been great what we did back in November in DC. We're looking forward to participating with them in May at their next event and continue to be part of the board in terms of longevity, Healthspan, lifespan, as well as wealth span is what we're
Yeah.
calling it, and bringing
Yeah.
forth those discussions that sometimes are not comfortable to do that I think will be important for practitioners like, cosmetic and med spa services out there continue to grow. There is going to be a play on all this. And I think the more we give to our consumers, the more that we give to our patients in terms of knowledge, choice, availability, accessibility, affordability, tools that they can search and be able to come up with their own decisions, and how can they fit that into their current concerns and the immediate concerns that they have and really fit that into their budget. I think the conversation around people wanting to have wellness as a line item on their budget is real. And the
Yeah.
fact that they're putting not only the insurance payments that they may have, not only some of the other things that they may do, but just having an overall health and wellness line item on their budget is something that is real, and they're willing to budget for that. And we have to give them tools to be able to say, hey, you can do that over time. If
Right.
$100
Right.
a month is doable for taking care of making myself feel better so that I can be better, a better parent, better brother or sister, a better worker at work, or anything that they're attempting to do to feel better in their life.
So I'm curious. You mentioned the event in DC, which was I believe you were on a panel, and you mentioned um, uh, there was a word you used, crap, and now it's escaping.
Wealth span, wealth span,
Wealth span.
wealth
Talk
span.
about that, like, because the health span and wealth span discussion was interesting to me, because it's not a word I had heard before. What do you mean by that, and what was kind of the interplay there? And I guess kind of the follow-up question to that is, are you finding that some of these other leaders, some of these other expert leaders that you're working with, are they receptive to all of this and what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall panel was around bringing forth that Wealthspan and Healthspan go hand in hand, and there is an integration of both things to have longevity. And we're gonna have to address the way to pay for or bringing it forward, um, to be able to have individuals out there that feel a lot more comfortable in terms of seeking health and wellness providers out there to take care of themselves. And so having a healthy life, which is health plan, but having financial stability to have such a thing is what we call in wealth plan. And so the link between those two are affecting the longevity of that particular individual. And so as people are living longer, you know, they may remain unprepared for the out-of-pocket expense. And we know that insurance doesn't cover everything in healthcare. In our space, in spa is one that obviously there is some elective stuff and some decisions that individuals do for themselves. And so bringing that forth, having an openness conversation around it. And I would say the leaders around me were very open and intrigued around bringing forth this conversation because it's not talked about, Alex. I think it is one that we think it's important for us to be transparent. We think it's important for us to be upfront. We think it's important for us to give them tools like a provider locator or a procedure locator, a procedure evaluator, to give them an idea of what it costs. So we created as part of our work a way for having 700 procedures that are related to the industries that we're in and we are connected with, and be able to give an idea to the patient, like, oh, it's going to cost $700 to do that. Okay, I really want to do that. I really want to feel better about myself. I think it's going to take care of some things that will be important for me. Therefore, I need to be able to finance that, or I be able to find a way to pay for that because I don't, perhaps I don't want to use my regular credit card. I want to be able to have a different way of paying for that thing.
You're
So
talking about the like the procedure calculator that
a
y'all
procedure calculator we've
Yeah.
created, I think that has been well received. But from a leadership standpoint, again, those are things that I think people are ready for listening to us and listening to the whole conversation around not only our health span and lifespan, but also about wealth span, because they go hand in hand. Having financial stability is going to help live a better life.
Hey everybody, it's Alex Thiersch. Thank you to CallRail for sponsoring this podcast. If I asked you right now which social campaign or Google ad brought in your highest paying client last month, could you tell me? Most med spa marketers are investing in growth, but can't point to the specific dollar that's actually working. And it's hard to scale when your ROI is a guessing game. That's where CallRail comes in. CallRail's lead engagement platform shows you exactly which marketing channels are driving your highest value clients. Their AI voice assistant even answers and qualifies calls when your team is busy, so you're not missing that high-value consultation that could have been your next loyal regular. That's why over 225,000 businesses, including top-performing med spas, trust CallRail. It's time to stop hoping your marketing works and start knowing it does. Try CallRail for free for 14 days, no credit card required, at callrail.com/amspa. That's callrail.com/amspa. It's true. And kind of what I was saying at the beginning is, there's so many things that are coming together in aesthetics with longevity, wellness, all these different words, but it's no longer just, you don't go to a med spa and just get, your wrinkles removed. Now it's become so much more, and it's become, and I think it's only going to go further in those directions, but it does kind of leave, begs the question, how are folks, is this only going to be for the folks that are well-to-do? And I think it's interesting and laudable that y'all are thinking about how can we bring this to folks so that it can actually pay for it. And I did have a question. The procedure calculator that you mentioned, why was that important for you to develop? And from what I understand, this is basically just a procedure thing where you can type in whatever your procedure is going to be, and it'll spit out, this is on average across the states, how much it's going to cost you to get this procedure, insurance or not insurance. I can't remember exactly what it was, but why was that important for you to create, and what does that show?
Yeah, I mean,
folks?
Look, it's a tool that we created because I think it provides, first of all, it provides like the average cost for more than 1,000 common procedures that we have out
Right.
there in
Right.
different states. And so we believe, and we have known from our customers that bringing that transparency up front, consumers know when they know what procedures or these services are going to cost, they just make a lot better decision and an informed decision about how to responsibly plan, how to save for it, discuss payments in their own households, and kind of make a choice as to move forward. We know, and we have heard from our own mutual customers, that if we did not exist, half of them would have delayed or not done the procedure at all. So we know that if we bring a choice of paying over time, paying over 6 months, over 12 months, over 18 months, and being able to fit that to the consumers and patients' budget, they will make the informed decision and say, I want to take care of my health. This is important for me, and therefore I'm making the decision to do so. And so bringing more information, being more transparent to them, giving them a better sense of reality of what that is, we just believe that's extremely important and valuable because I think they can take better action in terms of moving
Mhm.
forward and getting the procedure for taking the care that they need, when they need it.
Yeah.
You know, I know some people can pay or not, but the unfortunate reality is not everyone has insurance and not everyone
Right.
has access to an FSA or they don't have access to an HSA.
Hmm.
And sometimes people need access or prefer to use, credit to pay for cost over time. Our responsibility is just to ensure that those options are offered in a thoughtful, respectful, transparent way with different solutions for that patient to make a choice. And so I
Hmm.
think if we continue to do that, more people will go and take care of their health, go and take care of that procedure that they wanted to have for their own personal decision or because they have been recommended by their practitioner. And so we want more yeses and we want
Yep.
more folks to be able to do that. And that's why we're expanding kind of the types of products that we're bringing to market, bringing affordability and accessibility across the board by what we're doing with CareCredit. And so that's all part of why it's not just, Alex, it's not just the loan, it's the
Hmm.
information that you have before that, is the documents or the content that you want to see about that procedure, is what is it going to do for me? Why is that going to be a better situation for me in the end? And by the way, part of that is how much is this going to cost and how am I going to fit that in my budget to take care of all the other concerns that I have in my life to be able to live a good life. And so we want to be part of that. And we think it's important for us to do it transparently and across the way and across holistically for that particular household or individual.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I mean, it's especially true in our industry where it's, 100% or 99% cash pay anyway, right? So none of this is going through insurance as it is.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits kind of hand in glove with that. I mean, what's what's next with your collaboration with the Milken Institute, and why is it, I mean, why was it important to partner with a group like them? And what does that do for the, you know, the goal of bringing this information to the consumer?
Yeah, I think one area that will continue to be hand in hand with Milken is to bring certain reality around and thoughtfulness around the lifetime of healthcare. And we've done multiple research and um, case studies out there around what it costs to take care of some of the procedures that we help finance out there. We're in veterinarian. How much does it take care of your pet? How much is
Yeah.
that going to cost us over the lifetime of taking care of your pet? In our case, well, how much if you want to have these type of procedures recurrently over the course of your life, this is how much it costs. And we think it's important for us to be clear about that, and we'll continue to bring forth, like, here is how it works, here are the assessments and the reality of how much this is, but here are also solutions on how we can do it. And here's different ways that individuals can incorporate that into their daily life so that they can take action and not be left into, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this, or I don't have an opportunity to be able to do them, or give them options to be able to do that type of procedure, um, instead of just a basic no. Or it ends the conversation with, well, I don't have a way to pay for this. Well, there are ways to pay for that. And that's where I think it's important for us to continue to be transparent and clear in bringing
Yeah.
options for consumers to make a choice. And we'll continue to work with Milken in terms of different ways that we can bring that forth. As our aging population continues to get older, younger people getting to the workforce, I think all of that brings a certain demographic conversation around where do we meet that consumer, where do we meet that patient, and where their needs are shifting as they age through their decades. So I think it's going to be exciting for us to continue to work with them, reaching audiences we didn't reach before, and then bringing forth our thought leadership data and knowledge that we have in terms of leveraging them for really for consumers and patients get the care that they need when they need it and being able to afford it and access it.
Yeah, for sure. We've and I've talked with your team about this. We AmSpa's got to do a better job of getting, because you guys have a lot of really cool data. Just reading your article, you, you've got data that I think can and should be shared, on what consumers are doing, what they're thinking, and so there's a lot I think that we can get out there. What's you mentioned? I think it was, did you say May? There's another event with the Milken
Yeah,
Institute.
there's
You're
some
gonna
other
be.
event that Milken gets together. Again, we probably will participate on that, bringing forth some of the newer capabilities that we're bringing forth, and then at the end of the year, we'll probably continue to participate with them and being able to talk about some of the trends that we see in the payment industry. One thing that we think is important, and we've done it in many of the industries, is the way we integrate it into, you know, independent software vendors and being able to bring forth that capability of payments into the already existing practices, management softwares that exist in the provider's offices. And so we're investing quite a bit in terms of being able to integrate into those as many as we can across the industries and being able to do that to make it easier for practitioners and practices be able to offer the choice and being able to be integrating in their already existing mechanism there. And then even giving multi-source funding capabilities and being able to bring not only CareCredit, but other partners that are willing to also lend money as well. And so that's something that we continue to increase kind of the tools that we have, the partnerships that we have. And those are things that I think are important for us to lead, to bring forth and continue to create the vision that we want to give care and take care of many consumers out there for them to be able to get the care that they need, when they need it and when they make a decision to take care of that.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I'm telling you, as you know, I've got my wife and I have many, many animals, and whenever we go to the
Hmm.
vet, I'm like, care credit. I know them, so I'm always really excited about that. And I think I feel like there's a lot of education that we can do, on many sides. And I think what you guys do is needed. And it's not just that it's needed. I think, it's needed to be done in a really good way. Like there's so much room for folks to mess with kind of the integrity of patient financing. And I just, it always makes me nervous when I see some of these patient financing groups out there. And I know you guys have always done it the right way, and I appreciate that. And it makes me feel good to have you guys out there. So I appreciate it, and congrats on
And,
the collaboration.
and
Go
on,
ahead.
on
Sorry.
that note, I think you heard about the fair financing principles we created,
Yes.
which I think is one that we've always lived by. I think giving payment options to individuals, an explanation on the options on how to pay, the promotional financing overview that we have, make it easy to understand, the payment calculator that I reference, sample billings. Listen, we just want to we are straight, we're straightforward, transparent, and I think that's part of, our membership that is listening to us right now appreciate from us because that's who we are, and we want to be able to take care of your patients in a way that is respectful, professional, transparent, and they know who we are and who they're dealing with, and we get unsolicited, feedback from your customers, saying how valuable that is to have the option of CareCredit out there in your practices, and so I appreciate that piece.
It's not just the patients; it's
Yeah.
the providers too. I mean,
Yes.
Obviously the patients are important. They're super important. You need to have a way for them to finance things, but there's so many ways to kind of monkey with terms and things where things don't end up being the way that you think they're going to be and after time. And we've heard this time and time again from folks, and it's complicated. It's a really difficult area. There's so much fine print. You look at these things, my goodness. So it's nice to know there's a group out there that is shooting straight and can take care of it. That's just my opinion. I'm not nothing more than that. So I appreciate that. And again, congrats on this collaboration. It looks really cool. I'd love to, we'd love to see it. This next event, it's like a world forum or something like that. I think I saw. Where's that occurring? Do you
I think it's in LA, California.
Okay, that's right.
I think around the first week of May.
Okay, awesome. Well, and for those of you listening, CareCredit obviously is going to have a big presence at the AmSpa Medical Spa Show in Vegas here coming up in less than a month now, which is terrifying.
Looking forward.
Exciting and terrifying and exciting. But we're very excited about that. And our 9th year. And again, thank you for everything, for all you do for the industry. It's really appreciated. You've done a lot for us, but more than that, you've done a lot for the industry, and that's important.
Oh, great.
So, appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks again for the opportunity, and for the audience and our members out there. Have a great rest of your week wherever you are, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to share these thoughts.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Moeller, marketing content coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, Digital Marketing Supervisor. Our themes are provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a local service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.